What is going on, guys? Rewinds here. In this video, I'm going to be bringing you guys a Jump Festa event update regarding both Boruto and Dragon Ball. I haven't posted a lot of Dragon Ball content on my channel in a while, I'm not going to lie, because unfortunately a lot of the news scene has been pretty dry lately. The last thing we really had coming out was Dragon Ball Daima. So, um, aside from that, the manga only had one chapter this month as well. We're going to talk about Dragon Ball, but first I'm going to touch up on Boruto. I know most of the fans on this channel are Boruto fans, so I'm going to start off with that. So, first things first, just a little small thing. Boruto's selling pretty well on ebooks. When it comes to this source's ebooks right there, we have Boruto 2 Blue Vortex at 24. We got Boruto Naruto Next Generations at 104, and Naruto's even up there still at 154 in the colored edition. So cool stuff there. Just shows you Boruto is, around in the numbers. So it's doing well in terms of ebooks as well, at least per that source. So Jump Festa. Here's what we got going on here. So Jump Festa, pretty much, Ikimoto usually reveals a new drawing for Boruto, and we have this right here from all the way back in 2020 to 2026 of Jump Festa drawings. We have this year we have Boruto and Boruto 2 Blue Vortex getting ready to draw his sword, and that's the image we have for this year's Jump Festa event. Unfortunately, Boruto did not get a big stage itself to the point where it was going to have some sort of crazy announcement or anything of that sort. And usually, if it would have had that, I probably would have made a video ahead of time talking about, oh, maybe we're going to get an anime announcement of a return or something big is going to change within the manga. But unfortunately, none of that. As for these drawings, I think my personal favorite still is probably the one from last year's Jump Festa, but this year's Jump Festa is pretty damn good too. Overall, I think I like most of these, I'd say. My least favorite maybe is 22's, and even that I don't think is bad by any means. It's just my least favorite of the 7 we have here. So, shout out to Ikimoto for providing that illustration. And let's see, we have a little bit more over here. There were a couple more artworks on display too, if you care to see that. We did have Sarada over here, colored in. There's a close-up from the manga design. Kawaki as well. Little showcase of 2 very important characters. We also had Sarada activating the Mangekyo Sharingan. And we also had over here, it looks like Boruto landing the Rasengan Uzuhiko on Jura, and we have Kawaki versus Jura. So they really showcased Boruto, Kawaki, and Sarada very heavy at this event in terms of the artworks, and that's pretty much all Boruto really had at this event. I am going to provide you guys with a quick little anime update just because I'm sure some of you guys are wondering and maybe haven't seen any of my past videos on it. So the last time I made a Boruto anime update video, we actually have a confirmation from like Boruto's actual site that says a sequel is in production. So that means that at the very least, the idea of the Boruto anime coming back is going to happen at some point. That's a greenlit thing. It's not one of those things that we're going to have to wonder about, like, oh, is it ever going to get one? Nah, Boruto's too big of a thing to not get a anime return at some point. Now, what I think is going to happen, personally, and this is just a prediction, but Bleach is getting its final season part in July of 2026, and that was something that was just confirmed at Jump Festa with it being in July. Along with that, Black Clover is also getting its return after not having an ongoing anime since 2021, and that's also coming back looking really crisp and really good as well from the teaser they gave us That little trailer they gave us showed that that's also matching that Bleach quality we've been getting for the new content, which is pretty exciting to see because one, I like that series as well as Bleach, and just because I feel like Boruto is gonna get treated like those two series have when it ultimately gets a comeback as well. So I know being patient sucks for it, and I know there's a lot of hype stuff for Boruto to have animated, but unfortunately, the wait's going to continue on that end. At least I want to say till 2027 or beyond that. I don't foresee an anime for Boruto coming out in 2026. I think at most maybe we'll get those 4 Naruto episodes that they promised forever ago in 2026, but even that's not technically confirmed. There were leaks saying that it was going to be happening and that the episodes were done and all that, but it's been radio silence ever since. You would think that they would have announced that possibly at Jump Festa, but I don't even know if we're really getting that at this point, to be honest. So when it pertains to the anime for Boruto and Naruto, just keep expectations low for anything in 2026. Maybe if we're lucky, we get an announcement in the later half of 2026 saying that maybe we're getting something in 2027. That's at least how I'm taking it, and I'm keeping my expectations leveled. In the meantime, I'm going to continue, keeping up with the Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga and hopefully continuing to enjoy that and cover that. So that's pretty much what I have for the Boruto side of things regarding Jump Festa. We're going to talk now about what's up with Dragon Ball next. Alright, so now on to the Dragon Ball segment of this. Shout out to DBS Hype for anything I'm going to really run through here. And also shout out to Felix for the earlier part. But first things first, this image right here is pretty damn hype. Goku and Gohan, father and son, both in their peak forms right there looking back. We got Goku and Gohan looking from that angle as well. They look really, really sick in this image. And Toyotaro, I feel like, really cooked here. I bet he's honestly itching to come back and just start, continuing Dragon Ball Super. I bet he's a little nervous too because, I mean, before he would at least get Akira Toriyama's approval and everything and read through and whatnot. But now with him having to manage things on his own, I can assume he'd be a little bit nervous. But at the same time, I'm sure he's really excited. He's a very well capable artist as well as can write a lot of, good content on his own too because proof of that is seeing the Moro arc, which I believe might be possibly the best arc in Super. When it comes to the manga, definitely I think it's there for sure. Some people feel like, there's other arcs that might compete. Like some people like the Future Trunks and Goku Black arc more. And I've seen some people also like the Granola one. And I know some thoughts on the Granola arc are mixed. I personally lean pretty positive on it, but I do know it has some flaws. I don't think Granola is better than Moro, but I do like both arcs. My point being, though, back to the original point that Toyotaro can definitely make some good-ass stories and make some good-ass content to give us Dragon Ball fans. So I really hope he gets to do some of that pretty soon in 2026. So, full artwork right here is actually with a little bit of a crop because Gohan's hair is so large right there that it didn't make the full magazine. So that's cool to see the full artwork. Now, as for Dragon Ball, we do have images in the past, and last year's image was actually Black Frieza, and a lot of people were hype seeing that because it kind of just shows that, hey, Toyotaro didn't forget that we still have this up and coming at some point, and that storyline is still being acknowledged, at least through that image. So, here is 2026's image, and, this is a really good change of pace, from the Black Frieza image that we got simply because it's a lot more chill and it shows a little bit of the new gen with Goten and Trunks, and I think that's very, very fitting just considering we had that one-shot chapter as well in last month's not last month, and we had that one-shot chapter as well earlier in the year to complete that volume. So it's basically chapter 104 with the Clean God stuff and all that. So that was really cool to see, and I think this image is very relevant to that. I'm really hoping we get a return. I mean, I feel like us Dragon Ball fans have been patient for so long now that we're due something good. And Dragon Ball Daima, by the way, I did think was a pretty fun series, and I did enjoy it. Um, especially when it came to some like world building elements and a lot of action was cool. The main villain, Goma, he was all right. He definitely not on the higher side of villains, but ultimately the final battle with him was pretty cool. I do feel like, unfortunately, there were a few little missed opportunities there, but overall, Dragon Ball Daima I did enjoy. So I know we had that, but that aside, we definitely have been starving on content. We also had this illustration of Toyotaro drawing Fortune Teller Baba. He draws images every month of one character, so that's this month. So, going up over here. Actually, no, maybe I'm not going up there. So, actually, going more down here because there's something big we need to talk about regarding Dragon Ball. So, it's this right here. So we have this big Dragon Ball event that's gonna be live streaming on YouTube in both Japanese and English on Toei Animation's channel, and that's gonna be in January, more towards the end of the month, and it's being hyped up very heavy. This is basically, I feel like Dragon Ball's own little Jump Festa in a way. Dragon Ball is gonna announce, confirmed at least from what we know, a new game, and it's gonna be a big one at that. At least that's what a lot of the leakers have been hyping up. I personally think it's gonna be Xenoverse 3, and I would be pretty excited to see that because we haven't gotten a new Xenoverse in a while, so that would be pretty cool. There's rumors, of course, of a new Dragon Ball Fighters game. There's also rumors of a Dragon Ball Z Kakarot version, but more so for Super. And there's also a rumor as well regarding Dragon Ball getting potentially another Tenkaichi slash Sparking game. So anything can happen, and I'm cool with them going any of those routes. Personally, I do want to see Xenoverse because it's been a while since we've had a new one of those, but we'll see what they do. But that's the first part that's confirmed. The other thing is that we have two other big Dragon Ball projects that are going to be announced, and they're rumored to be animated projects simply because the voice actor of Goku is going to be present at the event, as well as Akio Yoku, who's a very big guy involved in the Dragon Ball scenes. He was the one who had the whole dispute going on behind the scenes with the whole Capsule Corp versus Shueisha thing, which it seems like with him being on here, he must have either won it or he must have walked out in a positive manner because Capsule Corp, Tokyo is what it's called, is actually a label now, I believe, in some game credits. And I feel like that's a very big thing because if Akio Ioku has been able to win rights regarding the Dragon Ball anime stuff, we're probably in for a big treat, going forward. And the last thing I want to touch up on regarding Dragon Ball is that one of the biggest rumors right now is a possible return of Dragon Ball Super as a remake. So this has started up a couple days ago, and a lot of leakers are pretty quiet about it. And usually when there's fake rumors, leakers deny it. Like there was a rumor a couple weeks ago about a Vegeta past movie, and people denied that really quick. But nobody has said anything about this leak of a potential Dragon Ball Super remake. And that's definitely eye-opening because I don't know how most people are going to feel about that. I'm seeing some positivity. Of course, there's some negativity too. Me personally, I think I'm pretty cool with it if we're going to get it actually remade and not remastered, because there's a big difference. Remastered is kind of what Dragon Ball Z Kai was, whereas remade would be animated from scratch, perhaps with the animation style of maybe Shintani. That could be pretty cool. He did Dragon Ball Super Broly, or even having it in the same style as Dragon Ball Daima, I feel like for the character model designs, I feel like could be pretty damn cool. Or yeah, I'd say that could also be a pretty good one. More so than the original Dragon Ball Super designs, which we had with Yamamuro back in 2015. So if we get like a pretty drastic little change up right there, and then they, cut out some content in terms of filler, maybe fix up a little bit of writing loose ends if they're going to do that too. That could be cool. And another thing that could happen is maybe they're just going to follow the Dragon Ball Super manga, at least this time around when it comes to it, because last time the anime was ahead of the manga by the time we hit the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 arc. So maybe this time it'll be different. And ultimately, I think it'll be pretty cool. I mean, I know some people might, whine a little bit when we get to the part of, doing the movie retellings again, if they're going to do that. But at the end of the day, I mean, the movie retellings in Dragon Ball Super weren't done too great in terms of animation quality. I think everybody remembers episode 5, and there was some pretty rough episodes in the Goku versus Frieza fight as well in the Resurrection of F section. And Universe 6 versus Universe 7, although it did have a pretty good fight with Goku versus Hit, some of the early parts of that arc definitely are a little bit more on the mid end of the animation. So definitely a lot we can improve from a quality perspective if you're trying to see Dragon Ball look nice and pretty and have the fights look the best they can. So all in all, I'm for the idea if we get that, especially if it eventually leads into continuing into a continuation of Dragon Ball Super, where we just go straight from the Tournament of Power to maybe the Broly movie stuff reanimated, and then to the section of Moro, and then Granola, and then probably Superhero, but this time done in 2D animation style. And then by then, hopefully there's a lot more manga content out by then too, so that the anime has even more to adapt. That's at least my personal hope if we're going to go down this whole remake route. I'm not sure if we will, but that's kind of where my head is at the moment with that. There's also a rumor of a Dragon Ball Daima movie, or just a Dragon Ball movie in general. That could always be cool as well, because we are rumored 2 projects. And lastly, we are also rumored an OG Dragon Ball remake. And if we get that too, I'm also on board with that. At the moment, I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. Of course, that's just starving like the rest of the Dragon Ball community. And I'm very excited to see them pump out some new content for us, and looking forward to that event. I'm definitely going to make a video on it of some sort, and definitely excited to talk about that. But maybe I'll make another video as well, maybe talking a little bit about this potential like remake idea and whatnot. But we'll see when the time comes. But that's going to pretty much be it for this video. I know this Dragon Ball section was large, but it's been a hot minute since I've talked about Dragon Ball on here, and it was definitely fun doing so. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But that's going to wrap up this one. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.